back to the Act Two podcast, a podcast for the real life working screenwriter. I'm Tasha Hugh.
And I am Josh Hallman.
And we are Act Two, a network and support group for the everyday working screenwriter. This podcast is just one of the things we do, so thank you for joining us here. We also have our Patreon, where you can go and sign up for our co-EP subscription, which allows you to, also have access to our free chat room area where you can talk to other writers and build community and ask questions. No question is too dumb. We love it there. And you can go to our monthly Zoom sessions, our live Zoom sessions, where we talk about a script or we talk about a movie and we break it down as writers and we break down the writing, and it's really great.
I'm just so anxious to paint the picture of what's happening right now.
What's happening?
Tasha, first of all, you're in New York.
Live from New York. We are recording this podcast.
I'm excited. I just want to jump into that. I know where I just skipped over the social stuff.
Yeah.
But that's because I could tell because you're not using your typical setup, and I can tell that you don't know what you don't know where your hands are going right now. I could just see it. I could see it.
I'm on this little table in a hotel room.
Yeah, I could see it. So many episodes. I know your podcast mannerisms.
And I'm tired. But I'm wearing my New York hat.
What?
As you can see, my 2024 Dodgers World Series hat.
You just said New York hat.
It's my New York hat. Because we crushed the Yankees, Josh. Josh doesn't watch baseball.
I do. I'm actually very much into baseball. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, it's some good baseball.
Can you talk about what you're doing in New York? I'm springing this on you.
Yes, I am at New York Comic Con, and I'm here to promote the Mighty Nine. And it's so exciting. I've never been to New York Comic Con before. I've always heard it's just like the smaller San Diego Comic Con, and it is exactly that. But it's because it's so much smaller, you can actually move around. You can actually see stuff. It's been great. So we had there was a Critical Role Mighty Nine live show that they did at Radio City Music Hall, which was awesome. So I got to go to that. I've never been to Radio City Music Hall. And then Critical Role had a Mighty Nine panel and just a general Critical Role panel. But we dropped the trailer of our show this week at the panel, and that's been really exciting because it's like the first real animation people have seen. And, it's your thing. So you're like, is everyone going to just boo? Are they going to like throw tomatoes at the screen? Like, are they going to absolutely hate it? People seem to really like it. So that's really exciting.
Well, it looks awesome.
Thank you. You finally got to see a trailer. Do you know what it's about, sort of ish now?
Listen, I'm along for the ride. It is from the world of Critical Role, and I get it. I'm in.
I would like you to pitch me what you think the show is based on the trailer.
I think it's is it like the Dirty Dozen, a group of people, anti-heroes coming together to conquer stuff.
Uh-huh.
Is that anywhere close?
The Dirty Dozen's a cool comp. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds perfect, actually. Yeah, because
there we go.
A bunch of criminals. Yeah.
Was that part of the idea of it?
That's definitely how we've been pitching it. Is it's just a bunch of criminals who are absolutely not the people for the job, who end up being thrust into a hero role that they're not prepared for and don't really do very well. And they're not heroes. The things that they do aren't towards some great grand goal. It actually is incredibly selfish, but they end up being the only thing standing in between like the destruction of the world. So the last people you want there are the people who end up there.
Yeah, it's like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Ish. Tonally. Maybe.
And with magic.
And
it's very cool.
This is going to be the best thing you've ever done.
I think it is.
Up until this moment.
It's not even a contest.
No. Because it's so far up your alley in terms of, I know the things that, the kind of characters you like, the worlds that you like, it's all coming together in New York Comic Con.
I feel like you're going to see so much of me in these episodes as you watch them with different character lines and stuff. You're going to be like, oh yeah, Tasha's been trying to write this show forever.
It's a weird thing because I've known I knew you've obviously been working on this for quite some time, but like we've never talked about it,
No.
unless it's just kind of like casual talking about it, and then all of a sudden it's here, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is what she's been doing.
I know because it's for people like Joshua who do not know what Critical Role is and have no idea what D&D is. You've never even like picked up a set of dice in your life. Let alone did you know that D&D required dice probably. So like
Correct.
so it's very hard to explain to someone what this even is until you kind of see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But hopefully you'll get it because we wrote it for you, Josh. We wrote it for people who have no idea what the hell this is.
And then is it supposed to make people want to play D&D after?
It's not supposed to do that.
Okay.
However, I have heard people when we did a screening in Atlanta last month. Someone stood up in the crowd and was like, "How do I get into D&D now? This makes me want to get into D&D." And I was like, "That's like my nerd dream and hope, but
Yeah.
it's certainly not like the objective of this show. The objective is just to be a good show."
So should there just be a bunch of D&D Act 2 groups, just like a spin-off?
Why don't we have a D&D Act 2 group?
Yeah, you tell me. I don't know. I don't even know how to
my
play
God.
D&D.
What am I even doing?
We've been trying to make writers groups the whole time. It's the wrong
Stupid,
approach.
useless.
Just be doing D&D groups the entire time.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Coming soon.
Coming-
Act 2 D&D groups.
if you want in on the D&D group, you let us know because
Yeah.
Tasha will put that together. All right.
All right.
Do we have any other house cleaning to clean?
I do have one this week in writing.
Let's go.
This week in writing.
So my this week in writing is that prior to New York Comic Con, I came a few days early because me and my friend, Katie, decided to do a reading retreat. I told someone and they looked at me like I was the most boring person they've ever met in their life.
I was going to make my brain went through a couple different sarcastic comments only to land on, you know what though, if this is what she needed to do, then I'm going to support her journey.
Such a good friend. Such a good friend. Listen, nerds, writers out there, it's great. I think I somehow fell into an algorithm of reading retreats, and on Instagram it was popping up. It's usually all women. You can go to like there are facilitated reading retreats where you can go to like Santorini, and you get a room in this like huge, beautiful seaside resort house, and you just read all day in the pool, in the ocean, by the ocean, and then you have dinner with a bunch of other women who are also readers who soon become your friends, I'm sure, over the course of the weekend, and then you go back to reading, and it's great. It's just like you get to just be alone and read, and as someone who loves reading but doesn't get to do it enough, I was like, let's try that. So me and my friend, we went to this reading retreat, and we got this Airbnb in New York in Harlem that was an old bookstore. It used to be a bookstore. And so there's still like all the walls are just lined with books, but they just threw beds in there. And it was great. I finished a book, I started a new book, and highly recommend self-imposed reading retreats, everybody.
And then you turn the phone off, that whole thing, phone
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Sitting in silence.
Maybe listen to a little jazz. You're in Harlem,
That
while you
sounds
read.
nice.
Oh, just so nice.
I guess I'm going to throw this week in writing, which is the exact opposite of a reading retreat. But you just reminded me, I messed around with Sora 2.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And I'm not joking. I'm not just saying this because of my AI slant, but I played around probably for about 45 minutes, just making things. And it was crazy. You can make stuff, of course. But my brain was so numb when I got away from my computer. I was just like, it was as if I had scrolled through social media for like 15 straight hours without breaking. I can't even describe how I felt. I felt dumb. I felt worthless. I really did. I was just like, I don't feel good about myself. And my brain was just rotted.
Oh wow.
It sucks.
Huh.
The feeling.
That's not what I expected you to say. That's interesting.
I didn't expect to feel that way either. I mean, it's really cool. And
Yeah.
it took me a long time to get a prompt, and I was trying to make things. I was just like messing around making cartoons and puppets and this and that. And I was just doing all different things just to kind of see what it could do.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
It was a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
but man, I was just
Brain rot.
the main page was like just hundreds of videos. So you're just kind of like staring at a screen with other screens on it of just AI videos. It just didn't feel right. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh, we turned in our spec that we wrote together.
I don't know what a drum roll sounds like.
No, that's it. I can't figure out if it's a good feeling or a bad feeling, but we did turn it in.
Why is it a bad feeling?
You killed your mojo. I sensed it.
Oh, my mojo's low. Yeah. So we
We
had
don't have to get to
I want to get into it. We had 6 readers read our spec before sending it to agents, because that's like our final last pass. And we told everybody, like, we're not going to do big revisions. We just want like a last look before it goes to agents, because for my agents, it's the first thing they're going to see of mine that's original, since I signed with them late last year. And so I feel like there's like extra pressure. And so 4 out of the 6, I believe, Josh, were like, no notes. This is amazing. Just send it. Like, any notes there were just tiny line notes that they were like mere suggestion, nothing else. This is the best thing you guys have written. And then 2 people were like, completely overhaul this. Absolutely not. Like, what do you do with that feedback? And so ultimately, I think we took the middle road, which is, okay, both of these people who are saying like overhaul it are basically saying the same thing, which to me was that the world problem that we have set up did not necessarily like match the world itself. Like, there was a tonal issue going on with the world, and it wasn't matching up with like the arc of our character. And so I just kind of like did a pass on like trying to connect those things a little bit more and kind of rough up the world a little bit more, because the world is kind of like shiny and magical and happy, and maybe it needed because it's a noir murder mystery, so maybe it needed a little edge. And that's it. That's what we did. I didn't overhaul anything. I just like did a very slight pass, and we turned it in, and we haven't gotten feedback yet. So listeners, will keep you in on the journey and see what our reps say. But that was it. That's why my mojo was low. Is like, everyone was like, "This is amazing." I was like, "Yeah, maybe this is actually amazing." And then 2 people were like, "No, absolutely, burn this."
That was a scenario where I wish I was with you in person so we could have talked about it, because I was texting you.
Yeah.
And I just sensed it. I was like, I don't like this mojo. This is bad. This is bad mojo.
Yeah, I was just suddenly like, it's fine. Who fucking cares if we turn it in? It
Yeah,
doesn't even matter. What matters anymore?
I just did a read and retreat. I don't care.
I don't give a fuck. It'll be great. Yeah, we'll let everyone know what the feedback is, and hopefully it's positive.
I don't necessarily agree with the others, by the way. I mean, I
know.
understand their points of view, but I also don't as strongly. I get it, but I'm not also as like, oh yeah. There's some things that's neither here nor there.
I just want to be clear. This is what my manager said. So this is where my mojo is coming. My manager said,
oh Jesus.
if you are expecting this to be a big sale, it's not going to happen. So moving off of that is where I was. That's where my headspace was as we turned it into my agents. So that's probably the mojo you were sensing.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We've got stuff.
We got stuff. Lots of stuff.
And it's the middle of the month. The Dodgers are crushing it, my team. And we have to quickly do. And are you excited, Tasha?
Yes. Okay. I'm excited.
Because we need to talk about movies. I'm just going to jump into some stuff. And I wanted to talk to you about where we're at in the month, what's come out, what is coming out, and I want to get your temperature on the state of the industry with these movies that are coming. Are you ready?
I don't know.
Are you excited?
Let me take us back in time to a week or two. October 3rd, the release of Your Girl, Taylor Swift's movie. Did you see it? Were you excited?
Wait, Taylor Swift has a movie?
You didn't know she released a movie? A companion piece?
I don't know anything about Taylor Swift.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what else came out that weekend. By the way,
Okay.
it was the #1 movie of the weekend, beating out
Holy
this other
shit.
movie, The Smashing Machine with The Rock,
Okay.
the Benny Safdie
Wait, what's
movie.
Taylor Swift's movie? It's a follow-up to...
It was a companion piece to A Life of a Showgirl, and it was basically, I think, because I haven't seen it, it was like a bunch of music videos, but it was like a 90-minute movie, allegedly. It wasn't a narrative.
It wasn't a narrative? It wasn't like what Michael Jackson did with Moonwalker? There was
Moonwalker?
like
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
there's like a whole, like it was a narrative movie, but it was intersected with a bunch of music videos.
I don't think that's what it was.
Okay.
I should have even looked. I had no idea. But it
Okay.
was like an album release companion that was the #1 movie. It made like $40 million over the
Wow.
weekend.
Good for her.
She crushed it. Okay.
Yeah.
The Smashing Machine.
Yeah.
The Rock. The story of a mixed martial art UFC champion, Mark Kerr, from back in the day, directed by one half of the Safdie brothers. Tasha, did you see it?
No, and I'm not going to see it. No interest.
Okay. I did see it, and it
And?
was good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. This past weekend, October 10th, Tron, Ares. So this movie was written by some Swedish writers that I feel like I'm going to absolutely butcher their names.
Let's go. I always have to butcher them.
Jesse Wigato, David. You know what? Here we go. It's with Jared Leto, Jeff Bridges. It's obviously the sequel. Tasha, are you excited for Tron?
I was excited until I saw the trailers, and then I was less excited. But am I going to see it? Yes, probably. In the theaters, I might not make it in October. I love the Tron series. I love it.
Okay.
And I've heard it's good. Some people have said it's actually good.
Yeah. I want to see it now because someone saw it. My buddy saw it and he was like, it was pretty good.
Okay.
Okay. Also came out this past weekend, Roofman, the Channing Tatum movie about the criminal who goes on the hide into like the Toys R Us place. Here's what's interesting about this. The director of this movie and the screenwriter is Derek Cinefrance? I can't even pronounce his last name. But he did the movie The Place Beyond the Pines and The Sound of Metal.
Mm-hmm.
Place Beyond the Pines was like, I love that movie. It's a very underrated movie. It's freaking fantastic. The other writer is Kurt Gunn, who I'm not 100% sure who that is. Are you excited for this movie?
No, I'm not going to see this movie.
You're not going to see it.
I'm not going to see it at all. I'm not excited. I'm so sorry because I love everyone who's in it and there are jokes that are funny, but I feel like the trailer was the movie and I'm all set.
Okay. Next week, we're in Halloween spooky season.
Yeah, let's go.
The Black Phone 2. Have you seen The Black Phone 1?
I have.
Okay. This is directed by Scott Derrickson. Writers are Scott Derrickson, Robert Cargill, and Joe Hill. The follow-up to this, Finn, who's now 17, struggles with the life after captivity. His sister begins receiving calls in her dreams from the Black Phone and seeing disruptive visions of 3 boys being stalked at a winter camp known as Alpine Lake. That sounds cool.
I'm a little skeptical that the premise is going to work and not seem silly. Just like having these nightmares when the guy was never supernatural to begin with, the Black Phone guy. But I loved Black Phone 1 really, really much. That's the phrase I'm going to land on. And I am excited for 2.
Okay. I think everyone involved is like really strong, by the way. They've written, I think, Sinister. They've done some scary shit. Okay.
Yeah.
That same week, next week, is a movie it might not even be on your radar, but it's on my radar. Good Fortune, directed by Aziz Ansari, written by Aziz Ansari, starring Keanu Reeves and Seth Rogen. Do you know anything about this movie?
I do. I've seen the trailer.
Thoughts?
It looks like it's fine.
Okay. Do you know the premise?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves plays like a guardian angel who only deals with like really small time guardian angel things, and he asks for a bigger job. And he follows around Aziz Ansari, whom I have very mixed feelings about. So I don't know.
Moving on. October 24th, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere.
Oh my God! Why did you start with this one?
Well, it's October 24th. I had to go back in time. This next week. You know what? Oh, actually, the director of this and also one of the writers, Scott Cooper, he did Out of the Furnace. Another. I don't. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Oh, fuck. Out of the Furnace is so good. I love it. Obviously, this is with Jeremy Allen White, Jeremy Strong, Paul Walter Hauser. It's written by Scott Cooper and Warren Zanes. It's Bruce Springsteen, man.
Bruce Springsteen biopic. Something you all need to know about me is my love of Bruce Springsteen is strong. I saw him on his last tour in Vegas, and I just love this man. I love his music. It speaks to me.
Really?
I cannot wait for this.
I didn't know you loved it. So you're excited. This is it.
I'm-
This is your movie event of the year.
Yeah, 1000%. I almost cried in watching the trailer.
Really?
Yeah.
If I could get everybody, by the way, to watch Out of the Furnace.
What is Out of the Furnace? Short
Okay.
log line. Pitch it.
A steelworker takes matters into his own hands after police fail to find his missing brother.
Okay.
It stars Christian Bale, Casey Affleck, your boy, Woody Harrelson,
Okay.
Sam Shepard's in it, Zoe Saldana. It's just an awesome movie.
I've never heard of it.
You have to see it.
Okay.
Okay. The following week, this is it. This is our last one of October. Are you excited for Bugonia, Tasha? Starring, see your face, Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. Directed by
Oh. Uh-huh.
Yorgos Lanthimos. Am I pronouncing any of these names correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Will Tracy, Jang Jung Hwan.
Oh, is it based off of something?
I don't know. That's how good I was at my research in this. But I really I've seen the trailer, and I kind of like the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer is bonkers.
For people who don't know, two conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap the high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she is an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. Sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome. I mean, I really liked his other movies that she was in. So I'm here for whatever this is. It looks insane.
Yeah.
And also really surprising. Like I feel like there's gonna be so many twists and turns that you're not gonna know what's coming. And that's unusual for movies, so
I feel like we have a light October, but strong October.
I'm surprised there aren't more horror movies. That's really odd to me.
We've got the Black Phone. It's going to hold it down.
I guess so. Bummer. Missed opportunity.
Yeah. Anyway. That's
Anyway.
it. Are you excited for October overall?
Bruce Springsteen makes me so excited for October movies. That alone is going to carry me through.
Can I just tell you something?
You've never listened to a Bruce Springsteen song in your life.
No, of course I've listened to The Boss. I'm just a little skeptical of the movie. That's all.
Why?
I'm just a little nervous. It's not going to be as good as you want it to be.
That it's not the movie that Bruce deserves?
Maybe. I wonder if he signed off on this.
I think he did. He was in an interview with Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know, some late night host recently with Jeremy. So he's he does not release his stuff unless he signs off on it. He's always been that way. I don't know. It seems very emotional, and I don't know a lot about his personal story, so I'm actually really excited to hear. And I don't know, with the part in the trailer when it's like, he's gonna change the world with his music. I was like, yes, he is. He's so basic. All right, let's get into the second half of our topic, which is that the Austin Film Festival is coming up October 23rd to 30th. And a lot of people, I'm mostly projecting here, but it's true. A lot of people are like, how the hell do I get into socializing and networking while I'm there? I'm just a little insecure writer, and I hate being around other people. This is how I feel at New York Comic Con, by the way. So how do I go out there and represent myself and like make this the life-changing event that I really want it to be and people say it can be? So we are going to talk about networking and how to do it, because I think Josh and I have worked so hard at it, and I think Josh is a natural at it, that we've taken for granted that shy people like us writers may not know how to do certain things when you get out there and specifically are trying to network with as regards to your writing career. So, we've had a lot of trial and error before we figured out how to do this. I'm assuming. Again, I think Josh is a natural. I still don't feel like I'm good at it. I still say really super awkward things sometimes. Just this week, I all I did was simply like walk through a crowd, walk up a set of stairs, and then when I arrived at this room where I was talking to people whom I know well, but whom I work with, so it was all like writing people, I was sweating profusely, Joshua. Like just that little bit of effort and like being in a crowd, some like just heated me up in a way that was just my body was reacting, and I was like sitting there sweating in front of these people, and I could tell they were like, "Is she okay?" So like that's just me. Like some things happen like that, and I just have to figure it out and deal with it and drink cold water until they cool down.
That's actually, I think, very common. That
Is
definitely
it?
happens. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I
I've
don't
been in
feel as bad.
conversations before where I know I'm sticking my foot in my mouth and I can feel I'm like, I need to back out of this conversation. But like you're just stuck in it. I'm not saying that's what you
Yeah.
did, but that feeling where you're just, even if it's silly, that no one's even going to remember it, but you know it and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I don't like this feeling. I got to get out of this conversation, but you can't.
Yeah, it's tough. Especially when you're sitting there, if you are someone whose your body just reacts like me and like you just start sweating, you're like, it's so obvious that this is happening. And I all I can do is think about the fact that I'm sweating and like I need to cool down so that I can't like converse with this person well. Because the things I'm saying are really just me trying to like deflect so they're not paying attention to me so that I
Hmm.
can just cool down. That all being said, I do weirdly think that I am better at it than a lot of people or a lot of people that I have also seen at writer events, and sometimes I just want to like pull people aside and be like, here's how we do it. So this is what this is for. Since a lot of you are going to be going to the Austin Film Festival this year or in the future, we thought we would just do an episode specifically about how to go about networking while you're there. First of all, though, Josh, I would love for you to set the scene for us. So, like, if I go to Austin and I check into my hotel, maybe I have, my short or my script is there. So I know I have to go to at least that thing. That's already in my schedule. I'd say my only reference for this is Comic-Con, by the way. Like at Comic-Con, I'm always looking at the schedule like well ahead of time, days before I go to the con, because I want to put in my calendar like all the panels that I would ideally like to go to. And I never make it to all of them, but at least I know like what my days are going to look like, which I think is a good tip is to, you know, have an idea of the panels you want to go to before you get there so that you can be ready to ignore them or go to them at your will, but at least you have some sense, because otherwise like I would just stay in my hotel if like on the day I didn't have anything. It's like, great, I don't have anything, I'm not even going to look at which is what I did at New York Comic Con. I didn't plan ahead and now I've not gone to anything. And also I would say pack protein bars and water. But Josh, you've been to Awesome Film Festival twice now. Set the scene for us. Once you check into the hotel, what's the deal?
Well, I just would like to also say it's been a few years. I went like my last year was like right the COVID year, like or right before COVID. So there might have been a few changes. I just want to say that in case there's like hotels switching around this and that. So you get there, you get to your hotel, and usually they have kind of like a uh Austin Film Festival sponsored mixer that you can go to, and it'll be like, okay, it's at this bar at 7 p.m. or we already have panels that are going. Keep an eye out on those panels. There's an area where you check in and you can kind of sit down and grab a coffee, or you can, what is that area called? Like a hall, basically, where people are handing out badges or whatever package you have signed up for. So there's already initially people you can talk to. And then, yeah, you just have the option to start going to panels. You can go back to your hotel. You can hang out there. You can grab coffee. You're just kind of in the heart of it. And now it's kind of up to you to figure out where you spread off to.
Okay. It's good that they have such a strong orientation. Okay, so it's day one. It's probably panel time during the day and like party time at night. Let's talk about how to talk to people at panels. First off, Josh, do you go up to panelists after a panel when you go see anything at a festival?
No, not unless I have a very direct like tie to somebody. Like if they knew you, I'd be like, "Oh, hey, I think you know my friend Tasha." The most I've said was like, "That was awesome. Thanks."
I'm the
Do
same.
you? Okay. I
No, I'm
don't.
the same.
I was gonna say I think you kind of have to feel out the panelist. Like if Shane Black's on a panel, he's probably done with the panel. If someone else is on a panel, is like, hey, if anyone has any questions, I'm just gonna be up here. Just come talk to me. Then you have the open door. But you could just tell when someone's like, here are my thoughts. I answered all the questions. We're done. And
Yeah,
like you don't want to like catch the person they got the exit and like corner them.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this. When I was coming up, all I could do when I was in a panel is see a group of people who was sitting up on stage who, they were leading my dream life, right? So that's like one reason why I want to talk to them. Like they were leading my dream life, and how do I get that? And B, I would look up at the panelists and I saw people who could also change my life. Like if they just knew what a great writer I was, if they just knew that I write the stuff that they also love, if they just knew how great I was and wanted to mentor me, or just saw how great I was and wanted to pass my script on to someone who could buy it, or hell, if it's a producer or an exec who's up there, or an agent, like they can even more directly change my life. But none of that is really true. um,
I just want to maybe say one quick thing with the agent in particular and a manager in particular. I haven't done this, but I know people who have done this. First of all, you listen to what the agent, if you want to get your script to that person, right? Like that's the goal. If you want representation, you're listening to, David Boxerbaum give a talk or something. He will probably say, or another agent will say, I'm open to taking material, to reading certain material, or whatever it may, like you can email this person after the panel saying, hey, saw you at the Austin Film Festival. It was a fantastic talk. I have a script about X, Y, and Z. Would you take a read?
mhm.
I'm just getting ahead of something because I think maybe what you were getting at is that people want to be repped and they're going to go ask someone to go read their stuff like in real time, which not a good idea.
Yes, let's elaborate on that a little bit more. But first I want to talk about if the panelist is a writer. Um, if the panelist is a writer, there is a very, very, very small chance that they can change your life. And I just want to be clear about that because I have been approached after panels with writers thinking that I can do something for them. And it's just not true. And here's a few reasons why a writer at a panel can probably not change your life. Being a writer on a panel and having dozens of people come up to you after asking questions or asking things is not necessarily where a writer feels like they can be of most service to you. Like their days are probably very long. This panel is work to them. They're getting paid. I don't mean that, but it's taking away from their life to do this. They've been asked to do this by someone to share their wisdom. And when a dozen people come up after a panel, all these faces just blur together. Like they're not seeing you. They're just seeing people coming up, and it's just sort of a general crush of people. And you are really not at all prepared to offer anything at a panel either. You're there to talk about the topic that's at hand, but you're not there to, you know, now I'm here to mentor people. Please come up to me afterwards because I'd love to mentor you. That's not I've never heard anyone say that ever. And it's not usually why writers go to panels, right? You're just there to share your information, be as helpful as you can in that hour that you're on the panel, and that's really all you're prepared to do because it's really all you can do. Which brings me to like reason number 2 why you probably might not want to approach a writer at a panel, or at least definitely just understand that they're not able to really help you, is that most writers cannot hire you. They cannot buy your script. They don't have the capital or the infrastructure to hire you to develop a script or to buy your spec because most writers are like you. They are everyday working screenwriters. They aren't buyers. Now, some very top writers are also producers, and it is very possible that a writer at one of these panels at AFF also has a production company like Meg LaFaux. For example, she was just in the news because her and her husband now have an overall deal at Netflix. So technically, to serve that deal and to make Netflix happy, they are now looking for material to produce. But the likelihood of them seeing you in the crowd, hearing you pitch as they're like leaning down awkwardly from the panel stage to hear your pitch back to them after in those minutes after the panel is not the thing they're going to remember. Like, just to give you a sense of what it's like to be a panelist, there are people who are constantly like ushering you into the room and off the stage because there's someone else coming in. And oftentimes when, talking about like bigger names, you're literally shuttled from place to place by a PR person or by staff of the festival. You sort of have no say over your schedule in a way. You're just like shuttled from panel to event to event. So you're just kind of like in a rush to get off the stage. Now, could you be that 1% who gets through? Absolutely. Josh and I are never people to tell anyone to like not shoot your shot. But I think more than likely, as a writer who has also been on panels where writers come up to me afterwards, there's just no way that I'm reading someone's script if they ask me to do that after that. And maybe that's just me, and maybe I react poorly to that. But after the panel, I just feel very rushed. And I'm also shy, like you probably are coming up to me, right? And it takes a lot of energy for me to not only speak on the panel for an hour, but then to like talk to people individually afterwards. It just like sucks a lot of energy out of me. So I'm probably like mentally exhausted already to then hear your pitch coming at me. I'm just like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, what? What's happening here? And I probably also just don't have the time because now I have to go to someplace else on my schedule. So if the panelist is someone who can actually help you, that sort of reason one that they can't buy your script may not apply, but I think reason two still exists regardless, is that that's just not the really the optimal place to do anything like that. And I've also been to panels where I did know the people upstage on the stage, or I did have a 1 degree of connection and I was like, oh, we should go up and like shoot our shot and just be like, hey, I know your brother so and so. But once it got to that moment, it's like, you can just look on you can just judge their body language and be like, they just want to get out of here. So I don't want to be that person who tries to kind of like desperately hold them back. So that's sort of my blurb about the panel. I heard a sort of tip and trick suggestion, Josh, which I'm curious about your opinion. Someone has said that a really great way of pitching in these kind of panel situations, if you do want to go up to that person and this is your only chance maybe in the entire weekend that you're going to see them, and you genuinely feel like they could change your life in some way, you've logicked this out, right? Instead of being one of the dozen people who are crushing the panelists afterwards, instead, like, write your pitch in a short like log line or just a short paragraph. Put your name and your contact information on a little piece of paper. And when you get your moment as they're coming off the stage, be like, I know you're busy, and I want to respect your time. Like, check this pitch out. I think it's something you'd really, really enjoy. But just check it out when you're busy, when you're, on the plane or you go to the bathroom, whenever you have a down moment, like just check it out. But I just want to respect your time. And you just hand in the little piece of paper. And for me, like if that was me that they were handing it to, I'd be like, okay, cool, great. Like, I don't have to talk to you. I can just grab this thing, put it in my pocket. And then when I get back to the hotel, I might, like, as I'm taking my clothes, I'll be like, oh yeah, there's this thing in my pocket, and I'll read it. And if it's great, I'll be like, well, man, what's the harm in emailing this person to ask for their script? Okay, maybe. What do you think about this tip, Joshua?
I would not do that. There's no world in which I would do that. But I guess maybe I don't. Again, this is hard to say. Maybe it will work for somebody, but personally, there's no world in which I would do that.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Well, okay, let's play this out.
Yeah.
You write something down on a sheet of paper, you give it to somebody. Best case scenario, that person reads it, right? Let's just say they don't get back to you. As the person who wrote it on the sheet of paper, my wheels are now spinning. I'm like, well, did they read it? Did they not read it? Should I follow up with them? Should I see if they read my log line? Should I email them? Should I write them on social media? Maybe not. Like, maybe it wasn't for them. Maybe they don't get it. Maybe I have to explain what it is, right? So, but to me, also, that just isn't something I would be like, how's my handwriting on this sheet of paper? Do they have my right email? Did I write the right email? Should I type this out? How big's the sheet of paper? That's
you should type it out. The answer is you should type it out if you're going to do this.
Right, like a handwritten just...
Otherwise, you look like a crazy person.
I think this is a crazy person route, to be totally honest with you. I wouldn't do that.
I don't mind it. I also think it's a crazy person route. But if I read it and that paragraph was genuinely like, fuck, this is cool. Like, it is the 1% that's gotten through and has made me intrigued. In the same way that a query letter can do that if you
Sure.
just randomly cold send it to someone. And I reach out. I might not use my like actual email to reach out to them. I might use like a secondary email because now they have my email. But yeah, I would do that more than I would if someone came up to pitch me.
You know what? I'm turning myself a little bit, because here's what also I would do, and probably what I would respond to, is if there was a little character development in the letter that says something to the extent of, I don't live in Los Angeles. I have absolutely no contacts. I have no idea how to get this to anybody. This is my one shot. I just wanted to share this with you, something I'm very excited about. Here's the idea. And then you write down whatever your idea is. If this is something you like, please like reach out to me. Like, I would probably add a little sympathy into the, like, a little desperation on, I would have to explain myself is what I'm getting at here. I just couldn't give you a sheet of paper with an idea without explaining why I'm doing this. But that's just me.
It's so tricky because I've been on the receiving end of that when I worked at Universal. A lot of people would just find the assistant's email and try to get it through that way, which is just not the way it works. And the preface would often be, actually, by the way, the preface was always the same. It was always like, this is the most amazing script you will ever read in your entire life. It will make you so much money. I'm not even joking. These are the things that are said. They will make you so much money, billions more than Jurassic Park ever could.
Yeah.
You're missing out if you don't read this script. Here it is. Give me a call back. So there's that version, which please don't, it's so common. I just want to tell people just like not to do that. But if someone had also said in that I'm not from Los Angeles, this is the one email I was able to find, but I feel really strongly you would enjoy this. Would I be more empathetic or sympathetic to that person to read it? Maybe.
I would, only because I would see myself in that person.
Right. I guess it's all about how it's worded, because it can easily be a turnoff if someone feels sort of too hand grabby. Like, I don't know, if they just want something so much from you, and rather than, I think like the wording that usually appeals to me is like, I think this would be something you'd really enjoy. It feels right up your alley. I love all of your stuff. I guess that's like an ego stroke is what I'm looking for. And I don't mean to, but that sort of appeals to me more. It tells me that they've done some homework. They've really thought about why this is something that they're handing to me, rather than like, I'm just going to shoot my shot with anyone who I can shoot my shot with, and you're just the person who's in front of me, which is generally how I feel when people do this kind of thing.
You know what? Can someone do this? Just let us know how it goes. Can
I
someone
love
please,
someone to be a guinea pig.
Can someone please do this? Just let us know.
Before I leave panels, I want to say one last thing about panels, which is how to ask a question in a Q&A. Josh, I'm sure you've heard a lot of these panels and both good and bad questions. I think if you stand up to ask a question in a panel Q&A, don't try to be clever. I would say don't try to think of something that will impress the panelists or make them try to remember you. Don't pitch your script disguised as a question. I regret saying this story, but I actually did hear about a 1% person who they got up, they pitched an insane idea of like, it was like a comic book thing. So like, what if actually your characters did this? And then he like pitched his version of what he thought the characters and their thing should do. And years later, that guy who asked that crazy question became a professional writer, and he met with that same panelist, and the panelist was like, oh, I do remember you. And like, he's like, because you were that crazy fucking kid who wouldn't sit down. But now he was a professional, and he sort of like, the panelists had no choice but to kind of like entertain this guy's crazy idea. But I digress. I still don't think you should be that 1%. In my opinion, don't go up trying to be a hero. Don't try to be clever. Go up and genuinely ask a question that you've been curious about your whole writing life. Or even better, do a follow-up to something they said during the panel that shows you were really listening.
Yeah.
But again, that's just my personality, and it's also something as a panelist I would respond to more. So that is my overall sort of etiquette for a panel. But Josh, let's say you're now at a party. Panels, the day's over, you go down to the hotel bar. Holy shit, so-and-so is also at the bar. Now, personally, I think this is where Josh shines. So, Josh, I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna give you a couple scenarios, and I want to hear how you would deal with each of them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, the first scenario. There is another writer here that I want to talk to, and they're standing alone by the bar. What do I do?
It's another writer I want to talk to, and I know their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, can I get you a drink?
Yeah. What if it's a woman? Different?
Ooh. I would not get her a drink. Only because it would be perceived as something different.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, hey, I know you're just hanging out here, but I just wanted to let you know I'm a really big fan of your stuff. And could I get you a drink? I would approach anybody and just tell them I'm a big fan.
Does that usually lead to more conversation, or are they just like, okay, and then you have to leave?
If I also, okay, so at Austin, the beauty of this is just my tactics of
Yeah.
if I've ever been down this road is I try actually to avoid all things writing pretty much in all scenarios of writing events, to be totally honest with you. I'll talk about panels. I'll talk like, hey, have you just been killed with panels today? Like, are you exhausted? Something that to that extent, and then just kind of lean into, oh, did you fly out here? Where are you from? Oh, you live in Los Angeles. Oh, okay. Where in Los Angeles? Oh, okay. How long have you been out here for? Just trying to open up kind of like the question. So I guess that would probably be my entry point of like, are you just exhausted from your day, knowing they've been on panels, or hey, are you on any panels? Like if I know who the writer is, of course.
Yeah.
And then that would be me starting to ask questions, trying at all costs to avoid writing questions.
I love that approach. My head has been nodding the entire time you're talking. I think that's great.
If you've ever seen me in any of like I never try to talk about writing unless it's with, if it's you and Dave and whoever, like where we're like, we know each other's stuff, but I'm not talking to some random person trying to like pull their like teeth and be like, what are you working on? Like, what are you writing? Have you writing good scripts lately? Like stuff like that. Cause I just feel like I get exhausted always talking about it. So I just feel like someone else is. That's how I personally.
I think especially for writers who are kind of like above you, that's definitely the tactic to go to.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they are very guarded in those scenarios because so many people try to ask things of them. So if you do go up and your approach is more just like trying to make a friend, like I love your stuff, like God, what yeah, how's your panel been? How's your as they say at Comic Cons, like how's your con been? Has it been exhausting? What have you seen? What have you seen that's been fun? Or like, yeah, what panels are you going to be on?
How's your con been?
Yeah, how's your was that what they say there? How's your festival been? Is that a thing?
I'm sure. I can't remember. How's your festival been?
Yeah. Everyone's always like, have a good con. Enjoy your con. I like it.
When I'm in these scenarios, I think it's helpful to kind of create an alter ego of like just an individual if you are someone who doesn't like to talk to people. Believe it or not, I actually sometimes just like to sit in silence and just people watch.
Mm-hmm.
I can sit in a corner of a room. I don't like. I know I don't have to talk to people. I'd rather actually just, if like you and I were somewhere, I'd rather just sit with you and just observe everything that's going on because it's fun for me. But I've been in a scenario where it's like, okay, you write a character out in your head and you're like, I'm this person now for the next 60 minutes.
Can I ask you more about that?
Yeah.
Because so many people talk about this. Beyonce most famously.
Sasha Fierce.
And Sasha Fierce. And you and I have talked about Sasha Fierce, and you've like told me to like find my Sasha Fierce when I go into pitches and stuff. I remember us having this conversation.
Yeah.
Do you literally do what you just said? Do you literally sit there and prepare like, okay, I'm going to start going up to people to talk. Okay, like who is this Josh Hallman? Like who am I? What is like explain to me what goes on in your head.
I'm going to sound like a maniac.
I love it, please.
You have to have your like Batman.
Uh-huh.
And then you just like, I'm clicking into this person. You already know who this person is, and then you just go.
And that
that's it.
person is what? Like someone who doesn't give a fuck if you roll your eyes at me
Yeah.
or like turn your back on me. I just move on to the next person. Whereas true Josh Hallman inside Batman, Bruce Wayne is like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, abort, abort, abort.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's more of like an attitude you try to shift into rather than an intentional, like talking myself into or defining a new character. Have you just found that it's just like a natural shift that occurs?
Yeah. I'm like reluctant to even say this, but yeah.
No, this is important shit because I always hear people talk about it. I'm like, well, how do you do that? What does it even look like? What do you mean create an alter ego? Do you literally mean create like a D&D character
Yeah.
that I have now as like my buffer? Don't do this, but I've heard people say, to get into a character, this is, an acting thing or a D&D thing, put on an accent because that helps you distance yourself from your actual
Dude,
person. Don't do that in real life.
If I was at a party and I heard you like speaking with an accent, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, how are you? Good to see you.
Tasha? I'm not saying to create like some like made up lifestyle or anything like that. It's just more of an attitude of like, I'm good. You like have to like calibrate into this. Anything I say is not wrong. I'm this.
Yeah.
I am this individual. I'm fine. I am fine. Everyone else is in the exact same boat. Like that kind of thing.
You think you learned how to do that over time? Because you can just kind of shift into it and shift out of it, right? I think I can as well now. But I didn't deliberately create Saucer Fierce. She just sort of came. She just sort of arrived.
Tasha Fierce?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I think it was honestly it was just going to Hollywood stuff. Not just Hollywood stuff, but just like, okay, I know I have to talk to people. And like when you first come here or you go to your first festival or whatever it may be, you're just kind of like, you're like a fly on the wall and you don't know what to do. And I mean, I just remember I remember thinking this a long time ago, just being like, okay, I can't just stand here and do nothing because I've done that before. And then you end up leaving and you regret that path because you're there to talk to people or to meet people or you want to get to know people, or it's not even to like get something. It's more to just learn about other people or something to that extent. So yeah, it just kind of evolves over time. But I made like a very conscious effort of it when I came to Los Angeles, being like, I gotta talk to some people.
Last thing about the Tasha fierceness of it, I think something that really helped me realize that it's okay to feel exhausted and anxious and nervous inside, even though that's not what I'm presenting, is when I started working with actors more, and these actors who you just take for granted that they're people. They're A-type personalities. They're out there schmoozing and that's what they love. They love attention, blah, blah, blah. And then you realize that's not actually the case for most of them. They don't necessarily, I mean, they like attention in the way that actors like attention, but they don't love going to parties and networking things. And it is exhausting for them as much as it is exhausting for any of us. That helped me a lot because I just thought some people were naturally amazing, and which was like 99% of people in a room. And then I was this 1% of awkward weirdo who couldn't do it. So knowing that we're all awkward weirdos who can't do it, and there's actually 1% who are not that is a helpful shift. Okay, I'm going to move on to what if you want to speak to another writer, but they're standing with other people. How do you cozy into that situation?
Oh, that is the absolute worst case. That is.
Oh, I feel like that's the better case. Okay, go for it. And it's multiple people. It's not just one person, because I do feel like one rule is if they're just talking with one person, do not interrupt. But if it's two or more people.
Oh, I thought you were talking if they were like a group of friends.
I can't judge if they're a group of friends. But if there's a writer you want to talk to, Shane Black is over there and he's with two other people, what do you do?
Well, I've talked about this before. Number one, I have gone up to Shane Black and I was just so stupid, but I don't regret it at all. Like it was like the first time I'd ever done like, oh, I love your work.
Oh, you're missing. Okay, I love you. Bye.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, I know. It's like I remember being like, this is gonna be really awkward. Yeah, well, you have to walk up to the group of people, and hopefully someone in that group understands the mission, and they kind of acknowledge you and give you the head nod. And so I first I go into that route to be like, am I going to be accepted into this dynamic that's happening right now? Just kind of listen to what they're talking about, and then just give the like, hey man, like how you guys doing? Just like, here's the other thing. Everyone knows what's going on in these at these events, right? So you're going to find groups of people that will allow you into a conversation. I hate to say it that way, right? But you've been in this scenario, we all have, where you're trying to get into that like group of people, and like someone like turns their back on you, and it's not fun when you're in that scenario. So the best case in that world is to be the person who invites the person into the conversation.
Be the person who nods as a stranger comes up.
Yes. So I usually just feel out those scenarios.
Yeah, I agree. It's very tough. And usually, again, this is specifically for Austin Film Festival, but usually if you go to a networking event, most people are strangers. They may have brought a friend as sort of a crutch for them socially, but most people are there to just like, okay, I'm throwing myself in and hopefully I meet people. So if they're talking to someone else, they're probably also strangers. So you can also just be a new stranger who shows up. And I usually don't say anything. I also just kind of like cozy up because that's just how it goes. Little groups attract new people and then
Yeah.
someone moves on. And sometimes your entrance into this little group allows the other one of the people who are like ready to leave to go move on. That's just sort of like the ebb and flow of a social situation. One tip that I heard, which I really liked, was actually saying something, which is not my usual, is, hey guys, do you mind if I just eavesdrop a little bit? And then they might be like, okay, sure. And you could even say like, I'm a writer too. So like, just don't mind me, but I would love to just kind of eavesdrop here.
So I've been in this scenario and I've done this before. Well, number one, if people are like seated or if they're sitting at a bar, for instance, I'll just be like, you guys mind if I hang over here with you? Like,
That's great.
and then that number one, the seated thing is always much easier because sometimes you can just be like, I just need to chill. Are you guys okay if I hang out over here? And that seems to always, you're like, yeah, sit down.
Yeah, of course. Take a load off, man.
Just hang out. Or I've also done hey, I just had to get out of that conversation. Are you cool if I hang over here with you guys?
Oh, good, great. Throw the other people under the bus. Awesome.
I wasn't even in another conversation.
Exactly. I just came from the restroom. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just need to talk to someone.
All great suggestions. Okay. Second scenario, I guess third scenario technically, there is a manager or an agent that I want to talk to at the bar or in this room. What do I do?
That's a very good question.
I mean, you kind of gave some advice earlier of what, I guess, not to do.
I've done this before where I'm just like, hey, I love the stuff. I love your company. I just want you to know that, like off the bat. And just like I've like left it at that or something. Like I don't do that anymore, but I have done that. But I'm more so in the going back to if there's a manager or agent of, hey, I saw your panel. It was great. Like that was awesome. Like just to open up that conversation, or are you going to be on any panels, or thanks for coming here. I'm really looking forward to seeing one of your panels. Like if you're trying to talk to them about writing and things like that, unless maybe like there was this exec that I knew that I saw, like I just knew he was a Green Bay Packers fan. Let's just put it that way. And I remember seeing him and we became friends afterwards. And I was like, dude, I know you're a Packers fan. I'm from Wisconsin. And it's just like off and running. So if you know anything like that, you could maybe bring that up without sounding too creepy. Like without being like, I know you have 2 daughters who are in, the local play. But my entry point is always kind of, are you on a panel? I saw your panel. How much more time do you have here? I'd love to catch like one of your panels, something like that.
That's great. And this is to me where the stepping up to go ask a question at the mic at a panel is less effective than something like this. Like I would prefer to save my question at the panel and use it for these scenarios, because if I do end up, especially at Austin Film Festival, where those panelists are more than likely going to be at these networking events as well, save it for that, because then I can ask my very intelligent follow-up. I saw your panel, it was so great. I have this other question about something that you said. So again, you're listening, you're engaging them, you're asking about them, and that kind of can immediately put them at ease and not make them feel like you're there to ask them for something, And as soon as you put them at ease, that's when, yeah, that's when the relationship can open up more. That's great. I love that approach.
Yeah. Ask about them.
Yeah.
Always. Like,
Always.
just turn it on the other person.
Okay. Third scenario, another writer like me at the same stage of their career is also at this event. Now, first I want to say that it is important to talk to other writers at your same stage. I know it can feel like when you're at a festival like this, you just want to talk to people who are above you, which you probably will, and that will be great. But you will typically not build your writing community with writers who are above you. They already probably have their writing community, or you're at such a completely different stage of your career that their community is just more people at their own level. So you're going to also want people who are at your own level. And if you're going to Austin Film Festival and you are in a room of other writers and there are A-list writers in one corner, probably being swarmed, by the way, and then there are writers at your level in another corner, what I personally would do is go talk to those people. I would not bother with the A-list people.
I agree.
I think guaranteed I'm going to have a more fulfilling conversation. It's just going to be a better con. And I might just, meet people who I can then exchange phone numbers with or socials with, and we can stay connected as you have. You often talk about people who are your friends now, who you're like, oh yeah, I met them at Austin Film Festival. Maybe one day they move out to LA. Maybe they are in LA and you can reconnect when you get there. And that's all good stuff. So how would you suggest people cozy up to people who are other writers like themselves? Same advice, different advice?
Oh, yeah. I just do yes, I will just introduce myself. Like, hey, I'm Josh. Like, how's your con going? Right? Like, how's
Mhm.
everything going? Have you guys seen a lot of panels? Like, what are you seeing? What do what kind of stuff have you seen? What are you doing here? Like, those kind of questions, especially which I think that is the most common path, by the way, is you're just going to be meeting other like-minded individuals. I agree with everything you just said. You get a really fulfilling conversation. You can kind of share war stories about
Yeah.
writing, but that
Yeah.
to me is always the best case scenario because you're talking to someone else who wants to be talked to, for lack of a better term. Most people want to have someone to talk to.
Yeah. And I think to that point, if you see another writer there who's by themselves and looking uncomfortable, those are the people to go to and like start a conversation, because that's a great way to just start to get comfortable.
There's a huge component I just left out of all of this for Austin is you have badges that say what you're doing there. So
Oh,
some will
really?
say
Okay.
producer, some will say writer, some will say if you placed in the second round, if you're a
Oh,
finalist,
wow.
whatever it may be. And then I think a very common question people do is like, hey, what was your script? What did you write? There's also filmmakers there. What film do you
Like,
have
why are
here?
you
It's
at the film
yeah,
festival?
what the hell are you doing
Hmm.
here? They'll like look at the badge, give you the side eye.
That's a great
Yeah.
icebreaker. Do people sell stuff there? Like, is it worthwhile to prepare your elevator pitch in case in that bar is a producer, someone with a tag who says producer or studio executive?
Yeah, I mean, I always think so just because you're gonna hopefully stay in touch. And who was Alex Convery had a story, I believe, where he met someone at the Austin Film Festival, and that guy like ended up helping him with a sale, I believe, on one of his
Hmm.
scripts. He talked about it, I think, on our podcast. My point being is, it's always good to just have something so you can talk to a producer and then stay in touch with them, which I've
Yeah.
met plenty of people that I've lost touch with, but we were in touch after the festival.
Right. Like, they see your badge and they're like, "Oh, why are you at the festival?" And you can say,
Yeah.
"Oh, my script such and such was at the festival. Here's my short pitch." And they can be like, "Oh, that sounds awesome, man," or, "Oh, I'd love to read that," or, "Cool."
There's
And they turn
hungry
their back on
producers
you.
there. Well,
Either way, it could go
yeah,
either way.
no, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Sort of jumping off of that idea, I do think it's important to prepare a pitch about yourself. So not only have, a very short elevator pitch about your script that if somebody asks, don't go just willy-nilly throwing your script pitch out there. If someone asks you what you're writing or what your script is that's in the festival, go for it. Do your elevator pitch. But also think about how you pitch yourself, right? And I remember when I first started in this industry, one of my agents was like, "Why don't you come by the office and we'll talk about how you pitch yourself in meetings?" Basically, like, create a rough script in a way of who you are and like what are the interesting details, because a lot of us can go into these events and do one of two things. You can either be the person who dismisses all the things that are cool about yourself because you don't think they're cool and you don't think other people are going to think they're cool. You're shy or embarrassed about the things that actually do make you cool and unique. And so you just say something like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm a writer. I live in LA. Instead of like, I'm a writer. I really love genre stuff. I work in fantasy and action adventure, and um, I live in LA. Uh, I live in West Hollywood. Any of those little specific details are going to give someone what they call like a door, right? A door. Oh, West Hollywood. Like I used to live there. Or how is West Hollywood? I was thinking of living there. Or, oh, you write fantasy? That's really cool. Like what kind of stuff do you like to write? I love fantasy. Who's your favorite fantasy author? Any of those little tiny details that you think are dumb and inane and no one's going to care are actually little doors for people to open into creating more conversation. If you just said I'm a writer and I live in LA, that's not a lot for me to go off of, right? Then there's other people who, there's the dismissive people, and there's other people who just say too much. Like they get into that conversation of three people and they cozy up and they're like, oh yeah, here's the story of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too many details. So my advice to people is to find a picture of yourself that's a middle of the road. Make it short, especially when you're first introducing yourself, because you don't want to just plop down a pitch of who you are, the kind of person that you are, the kind of writer that you are, what you're looking for at the festival. You want people to ask those things of you and to bring it out of you. Like that's what conversation is. It's not here's everything about me. Okay, now your turn for everything about you. It's give and take and give and take. So if you make it short, especially your setup of I am a genre writer, I love fantasy, action adventure, and I live in West Hollywood. Um, Pause. Let people respond to that, you know, and instead of the whole spiel. So that's some advice on pitching who you are. And I think again, the idea of leaving doors for people to open, to ask more questions is super important. Give them sort of, I also say like off ramps for people to just find out more about you and engage more. Josh, when you are meeting people, when your script or your short is there, do you have like a mini intro prepared for those specifically? Like, yeah, but I'm here because my short such and such just got into this part of the festival or whatever.
I have absolutely nothing prepared. I just wing it.
Fly by the seat of your pants. This is why I
Yeah.
say you're a natural at it.
Listen, if you know it, you know it. I know what I'm going to say, I think, but I don't have like a script prepared at
Yeah.
all, ever.
Yeah. I would say I don't literally have a script, but I would say that I think about if someone asks me, I try to think about what's the best wording for that. Like, and it's never going to be what I say
Yeah.
because I'm not writing it down and I don't have a script in front of me. But at least it starts to loosen me up about how to pitch my idea or pitch myself in that short one sentence line, so that when it does happen, I'm not like, deer the headlights. How do I say this? I've already practiced it in front of the mirror or as I'm walking around changing my clothes in my hotel room.
Of course, if I'm like, okay, if someone asks me this, I know how I'm gonna respond to it, but I don't like have talking points of.
Right.
This is just my own personal thing. I react better to more organic interactions, and I think you can kind of feel when someone hits talking points. And so I never want to be that way. I would rather have it kind of unfold almost like a pitch where it seems like you have never pitched this before, but it's just naturally flowing out of your system when in reality, you've done it 1,000 times over and over and over again. Like that is how I respond to things. So that is kind of how I approach it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like the talking point thing.
I don't like it either. You can feel it as you're saying. And I think something that you said is really important that we should highlight about this idea is that asking a lot of questions about the other person, I think, is really key for how to do this, because it lets the person know that you're listening, because you're asking follow-up questions about them. And because we're all human, it endears us to you more if you're asking about me. Like you said, it's like a date, right? And I think secondly, it makes people feel more comfortable. It puts people at ease. And everyone is so not at ease when they're at these things, and that can be really valuable, right? And I also think the more you ask questions of someone else, the more it becomes a two-way conversation and makes it clear that I'm here to make friends. I'm not here to find out what you can do for me. And I will never forget, I was at a networking party when I was an assistant because I did so many of these things coming up, and it was full of people at my stage, and they were all vying, for a dream job and who can help me in this room. And someone came up to me and they had a little notebook, like a little moleskin. And presumably, I think they were jotting down people's names who they felt were important and then writing their phone numbers down. And they literally came up to me, and the first question they asked me after my name was, "So what's your 5-year plan?" And I remember being of two minds. Like, I was totally embarrassed that I didn't have a 5-year plan, that I was ready to pitch this random stranger at a party, because I've always been told, like, you have to have a 5-year plan. You have to know what you're going to do. Otherwise, you're never going to achieve it. And I was like, oh no, this person knows what they're doing. They're so on top of it. They're going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And this is evidence why. And literally because I stumbled my way through, I want to be a writer. I didn't really have a 5-year plan that I was ready to pitch. They literally turned their back on me, like rolled their eyes, sighed, turned their back on me, and walked away to someone else. And I was like, oh no, I'm like never going to make it if I can't network like this. But then the other half of me was like, this is not how you talk to people. That is so awkward. That's so unnatural and rude. And I often wonder where that person is now.
I want to find this person. Fuck.
I wish I remembered their name.
That's so invasive. That's so stupid. That's not like, that's number one, you can talk about it if you want to, but number two, who has a 5-year plan when the world has changed 16 times in the last 4 years? Like,
yeah,
it's a 5-year plan. I have a 1-week plan. I'm going to try to finish my script. I mean, yes, but like, I also feel like that's a very personal question.
It's very bizarre. Especially as your first question, your intro question. Okay. My final piece of advice I will give about networking and socializing is, again, reiterating, and it's worth reiterating, approach this more as, I am here to make friends in the industry. I'm here to build a community of people who are like me, who think like me, who are struggling with the same things as me. And man, I love to talk to people about this stuff. And maybe I'll meet someone at the bar, the party, or the panel. But as soon as you start to approach this as a life or death, now or never, I need to make or break my career in this social event, the more I feel like I need to impress everyone here or sell something, the more you will turn people off and the less successful of a night it's going to be for you. I think people don't want to help another person who's trying to get something out of them, but they do want to help friends. They do want to help cool people who seem like hard workers and who seem to have a good head on their shoulders and are smart and creative and interesting. People who make them laugh. They want to help friends. So some things to try instead of going right in with what do you do or what do you write is some of the things we're talking about, right? How's your festival going? What panels have you loved? Life things. Go easy, ease into it. That's all. Enjoy your festival. Quote of the day. You can make friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. Dale Carnegie. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Follow us at ActTwoWriters for more awesome writing stuff. You can follow me, Tasha at Story Thursday, on Instagram or on Twitter at Tasha 3.0.
I am Joshua Hallman on Twitter, Josh Hallman on Instagram.
And as always, the Act Two podcast is a production of Act Two, a network and support group for the everyday working screenwriter. This episode was edited by Paul Lundquist.